Good to have everybody today. Happy Friday. I hope everybody's busy as a bee, cheerful as a cricket, steady as a clock, and standing on the rock. St. John's, Florida. I know all about that. Hello. Well, welcome. Here from St. Augustine, Florida. Good morning. Hey, Jan. Evelyn. Hello, everybody. Peggy, way to go. 7 days in, and Peggy has already lost 7 pounds. Great job. Good job, Peggy. All right, we're going to get started. This is our 11 o'clock food combination and meal idea class. It's kind of lately, we don't have that many new people joining us, so most everybody here is pretty experienced. We do have a few new people that we want to keep helping with food combinations and meal ideas, but we'll also open it up to Q&A so I can answer questions for our more experienced members that can't attend the noon hour. I'll also be live at noontime for Q&A and live support. So we'll get this thing started. My name's Travis Martin. I've lost over 100 pounds on the program. Hey, Dixie, good to have you today. I've lost over 100 pounds on the program, come off all prescription medications, went from a size 44 in the pant to a size 32 in the pant. I went from 44% body fat down to 13% body fat. The program has changed my life, and it's changed tens of thousands of other lives as well. And for that, we bow our head and give Jesus the praise for it all. So we're glad that you're doing good, and we're going to keep progressing. Friends helping friends here at Shibboleth live a more well and healthy and happy life. No pills, no potions, no shots. We're over it. We're over that stuff. All of us that have had the diet mentality for many years, we're over it. Been there, done that. We don't have to do it anymore. We've got a really fun lifestyle where we can lose the weight, keep it off forever. So welcome. If you're new, you're our special guest. We have 3 types of members here. We have our free community members because we're a ministry first and foremost. We want to welcome you. We have our lifetime members. Special thanks goes to you for supporting Shibboleth, and you get a little more access. So we do that as our way of saying thank you. And then we have another level, which is our partners, people who also feel called to this weight loss and wellness ministry to help children, to help adults. We appreciate you. Without our monthly partners and one-time partners, we could not do what we do. It is a great undertaking. It costs a lot of money to do what we do, and I don't have it. So thank you, partners. Thank you, lifetime members. So let's get this thing started so that some of you can leave if you have to leave early. Are there any questions? Any questions for me this morning? We'll be consolidating the 2 classes soon. And I think it'll still be sufficient. So we'll relook at whether we're going to do 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. Probably next week we'll continue to do 11 and 12, but we're going to start consolidating the classes so that there's not as much overlap in the 2 classes. But we'll start this off with Q&A. Any questions for me this morning? Weight loss, wellness, nutrition. Again, special emphasis at the 11 o'clock hour on food combining and meal ideas for those that are struggling. We often hear that when we have new members that are getting started, that they just don't know what to eat. And typically that's because they haven't watched the fast track videos. Watch those fast track videos, pass the test, earn that fast track badge. You'll understand a little more how to put your own meals together. The thing about Shibboleth is there's nothing that you can't have. It's just the way you have it, what you combine with it so that you can target and remove unwanted body fat with ease. Hey, Peggy. Peggy says, I drink Spark every day, 16 ounces. Can I count that towards my water? We don't want you to. My philosophy on that is water should be water. And meaning if I get in the shower, right, when I get in the shower to wash my largest organ, my skin, I don't turn on the Spark or the coffee or the tea. I turn on water. So anytime we're drinking, we're showering our organs, and we shower our organs all day with things like coffee and Advocare Spark. things I shouldn't be drinking, like a Diet Coke. I'm trying to wean myself off of that. But I don't want to wash my internal organs with that. Even though I can have those beverages on Shibboleth, I want to drink clean water. Now, if someone will not drink water, they're typically, when I drink a Diet Coke, I'm drinking water. It's mainly water. That's the first ingredient, water. I'm hydrating myself somewhat, even with something like Spark, because it has water, but Spark is caffeinated. So it also has a mild diuretic effect. So let's drink real water. Half a gallon minimal is all you need. Half a gallon up to a gallon. A gallon of water a day is optimal. Half a gallon is minimal, and that's required to have a perfect day. Leisha, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I can only see part of the name. If I'm doing the Tiger 16, will Spark mess up my 16-hour fast? No. You will read studies that have been done on fasting and autophagy that say that caffeine can disrupt autophagy, but at worst, it's minimal disruption. What really disrupts the phenomenon of autophagy during fasting that we're shooting for is macronutrients. So caffeine is not a macronutrient, not that big of a deal in my estimation. So no, it would not break up your fast. Hey, Betty, what is the best way to use avocados or best to avoid during weight loss? No, they're really fantastic for satiety. Avocados are fruit, but we use them in the category 6 superfood category. You can use them as a condiment. So a little bit on anything that's a whole food meal combined right as a condiment. For me, that would look like, say I'm having my famous shrimp tacos. So I've got some grilled shrimp, grilled in MCT oil with Old Bay seasoning, and I've got lettuce, and I've got my category 2 tortilla. I would use a little bit of avocado as a condiment there. You can use like a half of an avocado, which is going to be about 200 calories. You can use that as a standard category 6. So it's a fatty protein source. You can use it as a category 6 like you would pintos, black beans, red beans, and peanut butter. You can use it the same way that you would use peanut butter. So hope that helps, Betty. If it doesn't, we can unpack that some more. But for me, typically an avocado is being used with my guacamole recipe or as a condiment on a properly combined whole food meal. Anybody else? Any other questions? What are the benefits of hemp heart crumbles? Some people think you can't pass a test if you eat it. I just want to know the truth about it. I'm very confused by the question. If you're meaning a drug test, hemp hearts, hemp flakes, hemp seed do not cause you to fail a drug test. If somebody says that they failed a drug test because of eating hemp hearts or hemp seeds or hemp crumbles, then they lying. They smoking a little weed, and they're gonna blame it on the hemp hearts, hemp crumbles. The ones we get from Canada have been tested, and they have almost no THC residue of any kind. I have to take drug tests for some of the companies that I go into and teach, and I've never failed a drug test. So what are the benefits? Regularity, cellular regeneration. They're just terrific for you. They do have a lot of calories, so you have to eat them within the confines of the program. Hemp hearts are a category 6. Hemp flakes are a category 1+2. The hemp crumbles are like a granola snack. Betty Bowen, so some avocado on a salad with leafy greens and other category 2 veggies would be fine. Yes, superb. Yeah. Now, if you're using a lot of avocado, you need to just use that as your main source on the salad if you're trying to have a vegan salad. But if you're just using a couple of slices of avocado, thin slices, palmful sliced up on your salad with some grilled chicken or something, that would be terrific. Great fatty protein source that's going to help with appetite control. Anybody else? You're welcome. Hey, Janice, is it okay to eat only 1 tablespoon of peanut butter when having a sandwich? I have a hard time with 2 tablespoons. No, I actually prefer that. Peanut butter is not one of those things that I want people to overindulge in. So 1 tablespoon of peanut butter is going to be 100 calories as opposed, 1 tablespoon will be 100 calories. So I think 2 tablespoons is 200. Anyway, I'd have to go look. It's not hitting me right now. But 1 tablespoon is better than 2 tablespoons. Absolutely. No problem doing that. Peanut butter doesn't have a ton of protein in it anyway, so it's mostly fat. You can definitely do that. Anybody else? Any other questions? Where does someone go for free Shibboleth? If you want to do Shibboleth for free, we have a free program for the community at Shibboleth. I'm typing it in, shibbolethlifestyle.com. www.shibbolethlifestyle.com. That's a free community program. Happy to help anybody. Can't say no to people. So we finally set Shibboleth free. We do not want to tell people before we try to save their life that they got to pay us something. That's not the Christian thing to do. So, Dixie, how much protein do you need per day? I don't like to look at it in grams, but I will for you. I will for anyone here. But I'm just trying to tell you my philosophy. I've never known anyone that's not a professional athlete to make a lifestyle out of counting grams of protein, carbs, or fat. It's just not a practical, sustainable lifestyle for most of us. Uncommon in the Lord folks, but common folk, okay? But if that's really important to you and you're really going to count grams of protein as opposed to follow the Shibboleth Shield, let me digress. If you follow the Shibboleth Shield, you're going to hit your protein requirement. But if you want to know, because how many of y'all, you just got to know? Y'all just love the analytical stuff. I'll do it for you. I've just never known anybody be able to use it or do anything with it. But I'm going to tell you because we all love it. I like to know too. So anyway, come up with your ideal weight. This is the simple approach, Dixie. Come up with your ideal weight. I used to weigh 300, now I weigh 190. So let's say my ideal weight's 200, okay? So I'm going to base my protein requirement on my ideal weight, not on the weight that I am. So my ideal weight being 200 pounds, I need about 0.5 gram up to 1 gram of protein for the weight loss mode, okay? So I'm going to need 100 to 200 grams of protein on average per day to preserve muscle. 100 is my minimum. That's kind of what I'm shooting for, 100 grams of protein a day. 0.5 gram per pound of ideal body weight, okay? This is weight loss mode. If I'm looking at bulking up, I want to bulk up, then I'm looking for 1 to 2 grams of protein. So over here, if I'm trying to put on muscle and I'm overeating, I've got a surplus of calories coming in, then I'm looking for 200 to 400 grams of protein to put on muscle, okay? But most people here in a weight loss mode, so you need 0.5 gram per pound of ideal body weight. Hope that helps. Can you talk about Lion Day versus a Tiger Day? The real major difference between, you need to watch the videos, because if you try to have a Lion Day and you do it wrong, it's not a good day. It's going to be really bad for your health. You have to follow the daily disciplines for Lion or Shark Day or avoid those type days. These are carnivore type days. They're also food elimination type days where you learn how to eliminate foods that are causing you a problem. Most of your problems are coming from the toxins in plant-based foods or processed foods. So when we just go back to the basics, a carnivore type diet, and then we start adding plants back slowly, less toxic plants first, we're going to be able to kind of figure out which foods and which food groups allow us to feel the very best. A Tiger Day is different. It's not a carnivore day. It's more of a whole food day where you're eating, you're mainly eating animal-based foods and plant-based foods, and very little processed food, very little processed carbohydrate on a tiger list day, and a lion and shark day is mostly all meat. I hope that helps, Jan. Please watch those videos if you're going to try to play around with a tiger day, lion day, or shark day, especially a lion or shark day. You can get in trouble with a lion or shark day because if you've eaten some bacon and then you try to have popcorn later at night because you didn't follow the rules, then you're going to store all that bad fat. We don't want you to do that. A lion or shark day can be some of your best fat loss days, and you'll feel great if you follow the protocol. But if you lose your wits about you in the evening after you've eaten all these fatty protein sources, then you could get in some trouble. So let's be very cautious with a lion or shark day, or it can do you more harm than good. Now, here's the thing. None of this stuff does you more harm than the lifestyle that most people come from, Doritos and Twinkies. And that's one of the things that troubles me is I get several emails a day that are, hey, this program's causing me a problem. What happened? I changed and I started on your program and I'm having some health problems. And I'm like, well, what did you eat before you were eating broccoli and chicken? Was it Doritos? Was that helping you out? So you've got to be careful. Anytime we start something new, anything that goes wrong, even some snot dripping out of our nose, we think it's because of our new diet. When in fact, with Shibboleth, whether you're having a perfect day, a tiger day, a lion day, a shark day, it's always healthier than what you came from. Can I get an amen on that? Is that program any different than the $49 one? We have a $49 lifetime program. And the difference is you get all access to all of the variety, the entire food library, the recipe library, thousands and thousands of food options. There's a lot more features for our lifetime members. Obviously, we cannot do what we do, offer free one-on-one and all the stuff we do without paying people. And it's our lifetime members and our partners that make the way forward for us. So, because if it's just me, like if I was in private counseling, I'd be able to help, 8 or 9 people a day. That's not what God called me to do. God called me to help the masses, to help my brothers and sisters in Christ. And I want to help as many people as I can. So I have to have a pretty substantial team, pretty substantial expenses to try to pull this off. So what we do is try to honor and bless our lifetime members and our partners with extended features, more tools, more resources. But that doesn't mean that the free community program is a lesser program. It's a great program, and it's all anyone will ever need to lose weight and keep it off. Dixie, if you have more questions about protein, I was just teasing you a little bit, let me know. And I'm happy to help people with their specific macros. I just have never known anyone that will stick to it. I like to make the program practical, sustainable, and fun. And if we follow the Shibboleth Shield, we're going to get enough protein. How do you know which veggies are less toxic? You go through those videos. If you're a lifetime member or partner, we have the Tiger's Eye videos and the Lion and Shark videos. And those Lion and Shark videos go over vegetables that are high in toxicity. For example, nightshade vegetables and tubers are high in toxicity. Nuts and seeds are the highest in oxalates, toxicity. And it's not that you shouldn't be eating them. It's that you will learn through those programs, you will learn which ones of those plant-based foods are causing you problems. And for some, none of them you may be well adapted to consuming those plants that have high levels of toxicity in them. Plants have a fight or flight mechanism too. They can't run away from their predators, so they excrete toxins. Plants typically don't like you to eat their leaves and roots. So some people will have a problem eating the roots and leaves of plants. They're highly toxic. Nuts and seeds are highly toxic. Thankfully, they don't cause me a huge problem, but they do some people, hence all of the autoimmune disorders that we see. Are the line or short days good to help increase greater weight loss or get over a stall? They certainly are. Again, we got to be careful what we call a stall, because your definition of a stall and my definition of a stall are going to be two different things. A lot of times when people say they're stalling, what they really mean is they have improper expectations of how fast the fat should fall off. It's just improper expectations. But you could be hitting a stall if you've gotten close to your goal. Once you get close to your goal, you're within 10, 15, 20 pounds of reaching your ideal weight. You will just see weight begin to fall off slower because you don't have as much of a calorie deficit going on. Now, if you've got 50, 60, 70 pounds to lose and you're stalling, it's because something's wrong. Something's missing in translation. You're not doing something right, or I've mistaught something and we need to connect and we need to figure out what is going on. Because if you got a lot of weight to lose and you're following the Shibboleth Shield, you're going to see a 1% loss per week on average, which is tremendous. But some people would call that slow weight loss, and I don't get it. Anytime we can lose 1% of our body weight in a week, that is extremely rapid fat loss. So, for example, if somebody is 200 pounds and they lose 1% in a week, that's 2 pounds in 1 week. If you did your best and you followed the protocol and you lose 2 pounds, you've done something tremendous, okay? But if you're like, well, I didn't lose 5 and I'm upset, then you've set improper expectations. If you're doing everything right and you're 200 pounds and you need to be 150, let's say, you're doing everything right and you're losing say, you're losing 1 pound a week, okay? You're losing 1 pound every week and you're discouraged by that, that's a problem, because that's pretty good. This is 1 pound. How many of you, let me ask you this, and I'll go back up to Suzette in a minute and finish unpacking this for her. How many of you, if you lost 1 pound in a week, 1 pound of fat, you would be discouraged? Anybody? Do I have anybody that would be discouraged if they were only losing 1 pound a week? Or do I have somebody that would say that they stalled? Would somebody feel they're stalling? So listen, how can that be? Let's remap how our brain works, because if you gain one of these every week, what if every week you gain this much around your neck? What if every week you gain this much around your gut? Every week for 52 weeks, and you put on 52 pounds, 52 of these in 1 year, that would be fast fat gain, wouldn't it? You would say that is fast fat gain. But when you lose one of these every week, you go, this is so slow. What gives? That can't be right. If it's fast fat gain, it would have to be fast fat loss. We didn't get in this condition overnight. We're not going to get out of it overnight. Let's get our brains right. Every time I lose one of these, I've done something tremendous. Okay? So keep working on that remapping. All right, but a stall. The question was about a stall. If you really hit a stall and you really follow the line and shark protocol to the letter, it will help you bust through that plateau. You will definitely lose the fat much faster on a line or shark day done right than you will with a regular perfect day. Joni, Tressa says, I'm struggling with what perfect pairing is. Is there math? There's no math, no. So the best way to explain that to Tressa is this. This is whole food categories, right? Everything in category 1 up here, everything in category 1 pretty much is interchangeable. It's mostly protein. Everything in category 2, mostly roughage. Everything in category 3, mostly starch. Everything in category 4, mostly protein and fat. Everything in category 5, mostly fruit sugar, fructose. Everything in category 6 is all the macronutrients. Everything in category 7 is lean protein. So I've categorized these foods for us, and then I have put these categories in combinations to ensure a fail-safe way for one to preserve muscle, target, and remove unwanted body fat. Everybody see that? So what would be a perfect pairing? Sometimes it's hard. Let me give you an example. We have to have rules, so we learn our combination rules. Okay? So as we're categorizing food, let's take a look at category 3. Category 3. We know that if we don't combine lean protein and fibrous carb correctly with category 3, we're going to spike insulin, and we can't lose body fat when we spike insulin. So I've said these are the foods we've got to be careful with, right? Long grain brown rice, corn, long grain brown rice, corn, whole grains, tomatoes, carrots, peas, potatoes. Okay? Now, if I look at corn, Trussa, Joni, if I look at corn, that's a straight up starch, that's a straight up grain, a straight up carbohydrate. Okay? I put it in category 3. When I look at peas, peas have a lot of protein in them, corn doesn't. Peas have a lot of fiber in them, corn doesn't. But it still fit best because of the starch in it in a category 3. But because it already has a fair amount of protein and fiber, sometimes I can just perfectly pair it with a lean protein, like a 1 or a 7. So normally I would need a 1, 2, 3 or 7, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3 or 7, 2, 3. But in this case, if I don't want the category 2, I can have peas as a perfect pairing with any 1 or 7. So there are some foods that even though it's in a category 3 or a category 5, it's going to have enough protein and or fiber so that I can just perfectly pair it with a lean protein. The same thing works in the inner aisles of a grocery store. There are like soups, like healthy choice soup. There are some of those soups that I can make work if I combine it with a lean protein. But that soup by itself will not work. It will spike our insulin too high, so we can't have that soup. But if I take it and now I have a grilled chicken breast with that soup, it's a perfect pairing. Does that make sense, everybody? I can take anything. If I was in private practice doing one-on-one, you could come to my office and say, Travis, I need to have my Reese cup on a perfect day. I could teach you what to pair with that Reese cup and make it perfect. But because I'm not in private practice and I'm not counseling one-on-one, I'm doing group counsel, I have to come up with this broad set of rules that will work for everybody depending on their situation. Does that make sense? Let me know if I need to unpack that further. Suzette, I struggle when I take a hollow meal and gain a pound or 2. It takes all week to get it back off. No, it does not. I love you in the Lord. No, it doesn't. So first of all, here's the deal. If we're following the protocol right, everybody get pen and paper ready. Get pen and paper ready. Now, again, I understand that we think that it does, but it doesn't. It does not. Okay? Let me show you how to remedy this situation. Has everybody got pen and paper ready? Again, let's unpack this comment because we all feel this way. I struggle when I take a hollow meal and gain a pound or 2. You didn't gain a pound or 2 of fat. You gained a pound or 2 of water and glycogen. Okay? I seem to be bouncing up and down. So you got to get more serious again. So you've got this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay? So let's say that you start the week off at, say, 200 pounds, whoever you are, 200 pounds in perfect day. I deplete the glycogen, deplete the water that was stored in my system. And then by Wednesday, I'm down to 195. and it shows that I've lost 5 pounds. You haven't lost 5 pounds of fat. You lost a lot of water, a lot of sugar, and a little bit of fat. Then you keep going. You're inefficient fat burning. Now you're losing ounces, and you're like, I lost the most in the first 2 days. You didn't hardly lose any fat. Now you're losing fat. So you're in efficient fat burning status, losing ounces. Now you're at 5.5 down. On Friday, you're at 6 down. And then on Saturday, you take that hollow meal. You take the hollow meal, and then when you weigh the next day, you're up like 3 pounds. So now you've only lost 3 for the week because you're up 3 after a hollow meal. Why can't I get that off quick? You can get it off quick. You're going to have to pay the price, which is 1 to 2 days of perfect days. And the way to get that water weight off, if that water weight and that glycogen's blowing your mind and you just want to quit, what you got to do is the following. You got to, that day after you have that weight gain, or that day, that morning, you've got to drink your water, a half a gallon to a gallon of water a day. Next, you've got to journal. What does that have to do with it, Travis? Just journal. And then you've got your food combinations, but I'm going to write it up this way. I need you to do red column, or a -2 or -3 meal replacement. So if you go out tonight on Friday night on date night and you have a hollow meal, tomorrow you can get right back to where you were before the day ends if you'll listen to me. So -2, -3 meal replacement or a red column meal, and then you have 2 to 3 eating episodes only on your comeback day, and then you give me 10 to 15,000 steps to get rid of that stored glycogen and to get rid of that water, and boom, you will literally, if you have a blow it day tonight, a holiday tonight, by the end of tomorrow, you will be right back to where you were before that holiday. Every single time. Now, if you want one more counterbalance, take your ideal weight. So if your ideal weight's 150 pounds and you take 150 times 8, that's 1,200 calories. So even on your hollow meal and holiday, if you'll stay within those calories total, after 1 day, you'll be right back to that weight that you were before you had your hollow meal, I promise. If you do it like I tell you to do it. Any questions about that? Angela, what do you suggest to eat the day before 10,000 or half marathon? Well, if you haven't trained your metabolism properly, it's a little too late in the ball game to train nutritionally for a marathon the day before. So what I would do is eat pre-digested foods. It takes 36 hours to completely digest a meal. So what you want to make sure you do is you have pre-digested foods that weren't really hard on your digestive system, so that while you're doing that marathon, your body's not still involuntary digesting a lot of hard to digest foods. So things like some cottage cheese, a protein shake, keep it light, but get plenty of protein so that you've got those amino acids going to the muscles. That's what I would do when you're starting that late in the ball game right before a marathon. "16 hours fasting helps me lose holiday weight." Yes, Becky, and a WOW challenge. Becky says what helps her is a 16-hour fast after that holiday or a WOW challenge. Those both work along with this. Either one will work. You're welcome, Karen. Yes, Suzette, the steps, something to get you sweating. If we start sweating, we know we're evaporating water and we're burning through glycogen that's stored. But you got to realize sugar and water that's stored, not sugar converted to fat and stored as fat, but glycogen and water, this is like the tide. I mean, we're going to have ebbs and flows with our weight because our body's a big sponge. What we need is consistency. We're looking at what the scales say, like a snapshot. And we're like taking that little snapshot like it's life, like this. I'm not doing good because of this one snapshot. If you're having mostly perfect days, no more than 1 to 2 hollow meals a week, and you give yourself a month, 2 months, 3 months, that weight's got to come off. Don't get discouraged by what the scales say. Uh-oh, Chad had a Krispy Kreme. It happens, Chad. It happens to the best of us. Anybody else? Any other questions? Good stuff, y'all. I like it when it flows like this and we can stay on it. I've been doing a 5K and 10K. This will be my first half of the year. Was just curious what you do. Don't do any marathon, but I am very active now. But what I do is I work hard on adapting my metabolism to a fat adapted metabolism. Red column, yellow column eating, 16-hour fast. I don't eat junk. I don't eat processed foods. Rarely. I might have a hollow meal or 3 or 4 hollow meals a month now is what I'm down to. I just don't enjoy eating that way anymore. But when you're not having consistent perfect days, it might be too late in the game to try to really alter your nutritional intake. So what I would suggest the day before your marathon, make sure you get plenty of protein, but in the form of easily digestible foods, because you don't want to be digesting dense whole foods while you're trying to do a marathon. How often should you weigh? That's a very personal thing. I weigh 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day. I do not recommend that to most people. Most people, the scales is like it's like a miserable friend to them. So most people just have no business getting on the scales more than once a week because they're going to quit. It doesn't matter how much I preach it. Those scales, what matters is this perfect day chart. Are you really having perfect days and you're not lying to yourself? You're not having so-so days and calling them perfect. You're really having perfect days. What matters is the chart, not the scales. But if you find yourself getting on the scales and it doesn't show a huge loss every time you get on them and you get discouraged, I would suggest once a week. The best day for most people, Wednesday morning instead of Monday morning, Wednesday morning. Because usually when they're having hollow meals or holidays, they're having them on the weekend. So by Wednesday, Monday, and Tuesday being perfect days, you've gotten off any water weight or glycogen weight. Would grilled chicken breast and limas be a perfect pairing? Yes, you could have grilled chicken breast and lima beans with no other food source, no category 2. That would be a perfect pairing because chicken breast is lean protein. Lima beans are protein and fiber. Thank you, Suzette. I love it too. I love these sessions with y'all. Peggy, thank you so much. God bless you. We're so happy to have you part of the program. Angela says, I love the program 100%. What you put in is what you get and see in the mirror and how your clothes fit. Awesome. Yes, focus on. That's why I did that for myself and felt inspired to. I wish thou were cold or hot, but thou were lukewarm. Therefore, I spew thee out of my mouth. So I come up with this perfect day chart for myself, and I trust it. I do not trust the scales. The chart has never led me wrong as long as I correctly define a perfect day and a holiday. Charles, a 1/4 cup of lima beans up to a 1/2 cup. Anybody else? Any other questions? All right. Let me look. I got a private one here. Oh, we've already answered that. Thank you, Suzette. I just seen it. On a 16-hour fast, is it okay to drink water? Yes. Yes. Water is always fine to drink, unless your doctor tells you to limit it due to a heart condition. Have that water, half gallon up to a gallon a day. Nothing that you have that's 0 calorie or near 0 calorie is going to break your fast. Anybody else? Okay. I will be back at noon. I'll take a short break, and I'll be back at noon for Q&A. There might be some people who couldn't come to the 11 o'clock hour. And of course, all of you are welcome. And we'll continue to answer questions on nutrition, supplementation, and exercise. Stephanie, I drink a lot of black coffee. This does not count as water intake. Correct? Correct. We do not want you to count anything. Let's keep it simple. Water is water. So coffee's coffee. So even though you are hydrating yourself some, it's also as coffee. It's also a mild diuretic. So let's keep our water. But you can have many other beverages that are approved on our program. But yeah, water is the only thing that counts as water. What is the background of WOW challenges? What makes them good? These are really not nutritional. The WOW challenges are not meant to be wellness meal plans, okay? The background of a WOW challenge, war on weakness. So me being a foodaholic, a recovering foodaholic, I would come up with self-discipline challenges for myself, and I had to make things fun. If things aren't fun to me, I won't do it. It has to be fun. So I come up with these challenges that had the right macronutrients in them, but something that was a little crazy food choices that just had the right macronutrient profile. Maybe I'd been craving ice cream and I wanted to get it out of my system. So I would have a halo top ice cream challenge, something that I would not, it's not something in a way where I wouldn't live that way, but I will declare today. It's like a one-day challenge. Like I can't tell you how many times we've had 21-day challenges and people quit in the first 2 days. That's sad, but it happens. So I said, I'm going to make myself one-day challenges where I declare tomorrow I'm doing this, and I would stick to it. And like everybody else, my state of mind changes during the day. So I would have a hard time even sticking to something for a day. But 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I'm like, okay, I declared I was doing this unto the Lord. I'm going to finish it. Even though I want to have something else or have a new opportunity to go out with friends and eat, I declared I was declaring war on my weakness. I am not going to let my belly be my God. I'm going to stick to the protocol today. So that's what the WOW challenges are. They are an exercise in you keeping your word to yourself. That's what WOW challenges are. And you can lose up to a pound a day until you get down to that last 15, 20 pounds, and then, maybe a half a pound a day if you do them exactly right. Anybody else? I love WOW challenges. They're fun. When else do you get to have a day of ice cream? But you'll be surprised when you can have ice cream all day, how you don't want it all day all of a sudden. We are some strange creatures, us humans. Chia seeds. Chia seeds are a category 6. Which is better, hemp hearts or a category 1? Category 1 lean protein, probably better for weight loss. Hemp hearts are probably the healthiest plant-based food they're a superfood. They have all of the macronutrients, protein, carbohydrate, fat, fiber. They're just an amazing wellness food. But when it comes to losing weight, a category 1 lean protein is going to be better than a hemp heart. Tabitha says, I've done 54 wows since I started. Wow. It does, doesn't it, Tabitha? It strengthens our self-discipline to declare, I'm going to do it, and actually do what you said you're going to do. You actually get momentum when you do a one-day challenge. Jessica, even on a wow with AHS, I'd have to see the wow to make to give you an answer on that. So if there's a wow challenge, the wow challenge, it's not that I couldn't make it better. Every single wow challenge, there's something I could do to make it better, for sure. Not sure I'm answering your question right. If it's a wow challenge, the idea is to stick to it no matter what it says, not to make substitutions. You can request that I come up with a new wow challenge for you with a substitution, but the idea behind a wow challenge is if it says this, I'm doing this, I'm not making substitutions. Now, when it comes to lean protein with AHS or hemp hearts with AHS, I would say still the lean protein is better with the AHS mac and cheese, like 96% lean ground beef or tuna that was originally packed in water. With the AHS mac and cheese is going to be better than adding hemp hearts, because hemp hearts are really high fat and you're adding that to something pretty starchy. So still, even in that scenario, you're better off, even though I've done both, you're better off to add lean protein to that AHS mac and cheese. I use those as like my tuna helper, beef helper. Anybody else? Okay, I appreciate y'all. I love you. I'll be back at 12 for those of you that want to come back and have more questions to ask, and also for any new folks that couldn't attend at 11. I'll see you in a little bit. God bless y'all. I love you.